Hi, Dad.
Son?
This is my dad, Zach. He's the current owner of Ziggy's West.
The camera loves me.
Every camera loves you. Unlike me, he doesn't have an ugly mug. So first, a little bit of a disclaimer. Because my father owns this company, you can consider everything we're about to do somewhat under conflict of interest. I have not been paid to make any of the statements that I have made. I am not affiliated with Szco. Szco has not paid me any kind of money. I am not affiliated with any of the knife manufacturers that we are about to look at their products for. They have not paid me any money. But because we sell these products, my review should be taken in that light. So,
in other words, this is an unpaid political announcement, and he is an unpaid, non-attorney spokesperson.
Stop hamming it up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's open this up. Now, I've never actually done an unboxing video, but I know you're always supposed to start by actually opening the box. In fact, many of them like to examine the box, like to take a look around the box, look at the nice, solid construction. Oh, see all this marking here? Oh, no, that's not good. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's open the box.
It's nothing like opening a box with some old discontinued stock. Alright, and as we can see, already there's excitement in the way of lots of paper.
Yep.
That's the one thing when it comes to box unopenings or unveilings or whatever you want to refer to it as. You have to deal with the packaging, because if the packaging isn't right, you can't ship it back. And there's always a lot of waste in the form of extra packaging. That way.
Now, here is the moment when a normal boxing video would talk about how well everything is packaged or spaced, and actually, got a nice little Tetris setup here. They packaged it pretty well, I guess. I'm not sure I like the fact that the boxes on the bottom seem to be flush with the bottom of the box itself. So we might have to take a look at the boxes as they pull them out. But
the one thing you're always going to find when you open a box of this type are other boxes. Let's see what are in some of the boxes.
Can you tell my dad's not particularly enthused with the concept of a video for unboxing, but...
Okay. Everybody's got a different way of applying boxes for different parts and pieces.
Alright.
What do we got here? This is a box of 6 Royal Daggers. What makes this dagger royal? To be honest with you, it's somebody's opinion. Daggers probably didn't look like this in most parts of the world at the time when this may have been depicted. However, the Middle Eastern knights, royalty, nobility, etc., did pride themselves on the beauty of the construction of daggers, swords, etc., as did noblemen and royalty of Europe. So typically, something this fine, something this ornate, you would not see strapped to the belt of a common knight or common man-at-arms, unless he was really favored by the local nobleman or lord or royalty, the duke or the earl or the marquis, etc., etc. And of course, for safety, a lot of these boxes are taped shut. And the reason being is because what's in them, you don't want them flying around the box during shipping.
All right, coming around.
This particular piece shouldst be sharpened. Probably some form of surgical steel. The problem that I have been faced with recently, I should say in recent months, is a lot of this stuff, which used to come traditionally sharpened, hasn't been. It's almost as if they've decided, you know what, we're just not going to do that anymore. And of course, some of this stuff comes apart easily. This simply came unwound from this little ring here. Not a big deal. I never did like this stuff anyway. I just like the dagger. And, as I have discovered, like many of the stuff coming to me recently, no edge. Which disappoints me for two reasons. One, you know, I do like quality steel, and this is good stainless. Why it's not edged, don't know. Two, it disappoints customers. A lot of customers really prefer something that is functionally accurate. That said, they didn't have stainless back in the Middle Ages. Or even in the Renaissance.
Actually, may I see the blade first before I put it away?
Actually, may.
Okay. I'm gonna actually do this, and then may I see the scabbard?
There you go. Not going to worry about the plastic.
Yeah, and as my father surmised, it is in fact stainless steel.
And that's as much experience as anything else, because typically that's the way they come as with regards to the type of steel used, is some form of stainless.
So, my personal opinion on this piece, right off the bat, is this looks like a good costume piece. I don't like the feel of the grip at all. You know, it's got a, if you can see, the pommel is very tight to my hand here. It's got all of this ornate assortment on it, and that just does not feel good on the hand. You could use with a gauntlet, but then you've got even less room for your grip. But the scabbard does have a very nice polished wood looking finish, and although I can see like a little bit of mispaint around here, it's actually, the decorations are actually pretty well done. So
For 25 bucks, I know, shameless plug there, it's not a bad piece. I have it. Now, unsharpened as it is, one still has to be wary and careful of the tip, because the tip, if misplaced, can still harm you.
So those are the Royal Daggers.
That's a decent box right to here. I'm going to go ahead and spin this to give us a little more room. Why didn't these come in a box? Well, they probably did at one time, but the box was probably larger. In other words, a box similar to this, where they were cased this way. And I only bought so many of them, as in 6. Typically, they come in cartons, cases, crates, not necessarily in that order. Oh, almost forgot. Medieval Dagger. What's the difference between a Royal Dagger and a Medieval Dagger? In this case, the name. Back then, it would simply have been, as I stated earlier, a common medieval dagger would be less ornate than this. This would still be the type of dagger that you would expect to see hanging from the belt of a lord or nobleman, or even royalty. And this one actually has a clip, which I do not see, but it's supposed to clip to. Absolutely outrageous.
It looks like it's at the bottom of the tip there.
Right here?
Or, sorry, let me see. See if I can get closer. Nope, I misjudged that. I thought this little doodad was, I thought that doodad was where you would clip it to, but I guess not.
And
it looks like you just have to clip it, yeah, like that.
It may simply clip to another part of the belt, you know, as you're wearing this. Again, stainless steel, again, unsharpened, which, as I said, really disappoints me because people like, you know, to purchase things sharpened and functional. You know, it's like the finishing touch on the cake. This is a beautiful cake without frosting.
Oh, again, I'd like to have it displayed. Could you put it in the red box like we did before?
To get rid of the plastic.
All right.
And May box.
Again, I've got nothing as far as complaints for the decorations on the scabbard. As my father said, the handle is very fancy. Of course, it does have this cross design in the pommel, which was common of many medieval pieces at that time. Let's see how the grip feels. Again, the accortments, they do not feel very good in the hand. Again, you could probably use a gauntlet. In this case, though, got a little bit of a rough edge there. In this case, though, the grip is a lot more forgiving, so actually wearing a gauntlet while using this piece would be acceptable. Again, as my father surmised, stainless steel, and with a dagger this length, stainless is fine. I would still consider this more costume piece. I mean, you can see kind of how the blade is fitting into the pommel there. It's not a good tight, or sorry, into the hilt there. It's not a good tight fit there, so I would consider this costuming more than any kind of functional piece, even if you were to get it sharpened.
I would like to add, these pieces can be sharpened. They always came to us that way, but for some reason in the past 8 or so months, as we've placed these orders, they're coming unsharpened now.
Okay.
But they can be sharpened. The thing is what you want to be wary of, you don't want to take this home and throw it on your Sears grinder. If you want it sharpened and sharpened properly, bring it to a tool maker who uses a slow stone along with the cooling goop or oil or material as the stone is turning, and you will wind up with a piece that has a nice edge. And oddly, tool sharpening and knife sharpening of this nature isn't all that expensive. Just a thought.
Yeah. Want to go ahead and just package that up before we open the next one?
All right, I will put this in right here.
I have a feeling I know what might be in there.
Again, that tip can be nasty, so always be aware. Put this in the box right there. And the top goes on. Well, you know, I'm going to be consistent because I like to orient the top if it's got a photo on it or some type of illustration. I like to orient it such that it's in line with the knife that's underneath. So I know when I open this box, pommel's up here, tips down here.
It should also be noted that the way we're currently prepping these will be our display models, whereas the ones underneath will be the ones we sell first.
This next little box, you may not know what's in it, but I know. Did I demonstrate this forward assist knife early? Well, as a matter of fact, it's got some brothers in here. Or sisters, depending upon how you look at it. Cousins, maybe. Ooh, and it's got a neat name to it. Premier Edge. We have M-Tech, we have Right Edge, there's a number of other names that are placed on these. It's not the box, obviously. It's what's inside the box that counts. And I was attracted to these mainly by the color, you know, and of course functionality. This is a nice, comfortable grip with the clip, of course. It is an action-assisted blade, which means this little guy sticking out here is actually part of the tang. When you're holding it thus, thumb here, fingers on the clip, this part or pommel of this little knife toward the heel of the palm and forefinger striking toward that direction, it comes out beautifully. And look at that nice blue on there. People like cobalt blue, people like red. I have this in red and blue. I also have it, I believe, in what is called a rescue style. Oh, notice on the end of the box, BL stands for blue.
Yeah, so again, I definitely prefer the rescue style.
This would be considered a good working knife.
Yeah, it's got a good grip to it. Nice, simple Bowie style blade. Excellent for most kind of cutting that you would need to do at work or in an emergency.
Comes out fast.
Yeah. All of these come with a liner lock, which is both part of the mechanism and keeps the blade out and safe. So I will have my father.
The clip.
I will have my father close that lock.
All right. Just push the little liner here back toward the clip. Oh shucks, I left my thumb in there. But look what happens. This tang piece comes down on you, not the blade, if you forget and leave your thumb in there. Designed for easy, one-handed operation.
Yeah.
Not a switchblade, folks, because there is not a button lock. You actually have to manipulate the blade to get it open, and that's the differential.
Yeah. Now my dad is kind of the salesperson here. I'll go ahead and mention the one thing that can go wrong with these pieces is that because of the fact that they are action assisted, that action assist can wear down, and it does put some stress on the handle and on the blade. And so we've seen things like screws that pop out and stuff like that. But what are we currently asking for these?
13 each, 2 for $25.
Yeah, so $13, you get yourself a good work knife. I mean, at that price, even if it does break.
If you buy yourself a buck titanium for $100 and you lose that, you're going to cry. I know I would. You buy one of these for $13 and it's like, well, shucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean abuse it. Use it properly. But you lose it, it's a lot more affordable to replace.
Now this is the safety design we were talking about before, and these are the designs I prefer for these knives.
You have your seatbelt cutter, you have your window punch, and of course, this one's red. Some people like red. We have this in blue and red. We had the other model in blue and red. Action assisted, a much larger blade, which isn't really necessary. A 3 to 3.5 inch blade is more than enough. A nice long handle for good control is the way it should be. And again, a liner lock. And all this part up here, the holes, you know, they've got nothing to do with allowing blood to run or anything like that. It just lightens the blade a little bit more and allows for a quick release, such as you just saw demonstrated. Nice, simple. And I'll leave that for you to. Got a little camo going on there, I see.
And again, this is roughly the same type of grip. The grip on these work knives feels pretty comfortable in one's hand. I could easily use this left or right-handed, even with the clip. But the big thing that I prefer these for is the safety features. I figure if you're going to have an emergency knife, it should have emergency features on it. And that seatbelt cutter and window punch, those are the kind of things that can save lives. So
I have it.
okay. All right.
You'll notice we communicate when we pass a knife from one to the other. You know, always make certain that the individual who's handing you a knife knows that you have it. So things like the knife being dropped on somebody's hand, on somebody's foot. I actually had a collection of sneakers once where I had holes in the sneakers where I had accidentally dropped knives. As luck would have it, the tip always seemed to fall between my toes.
Alright.
Alright, so we have 2 more boxes of those in here.
We won't need to open
This
those
is
separately.
the blue version of the one you just saw. This is the red version that I featured earlier. Again, RDBL. These little guys, which should have been placed on the bottom. These are leather journals. They should be okay. Let's see what type we have. We have different types, and they're not all in the same box. Skull and crossbones. And of course this is completely leather bound. Nice old style, you know, almost wasp manufactured type, you know, paper or papyrus, whatever you want to call it. It's one of the things that I actually learned as a kid is wasps make paper by chewing on high fibrous vegetation. I experimented with that with celery when I was in the 4th grade and actually made a sheet of paper that a friend of mine and I drew old runes on. But this will be kind of neat. We sell these for $20, another shameless plug.
Okay. Let me take a look at the design real quick.
There you go.
Alright, see if we can get this in some nice good light.
Gel packs out of there.
Now I especially like the lock design on these journals. Very nice brass, kind of steampunky design. I'm not liking the skull and crossbones design myself, but again, that's not the only design we have. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that it's cliche, maybe it's the fact that that style of design doesn't seem to work very well with the Celtic style designing around the edge. I mean, it's like, I guess these are Irish pirates. But other than that, you know, I've always been very fond of these journal pieces that we cut. And again, it's actually really good paper too, as far as like if you just want old-fashioned style.
And it's meant to look very rustic because back then you would not expect to see the nice, clean, even papering that you see in novels built nowadays.
Yeah.
Because the technology didn't exist back then.
All right. Let's do, if you can find one, let's do one more design for the journals.
Okay. They're not in here.
Oh, they're in a different one? These are all skull and crossbones.
Right, so the other ones, there's 4 more.
All right.
3 or 4 more that are probably in one of the other boxes. So when we unbox that, I will, however, unbox these. A friend of mine just had to have more of these.
Oh, yes.
These are the old Stork scissors. Now, these are reproductions. These are not originals as were manufactured back in the late 1800s through the 20s and 30s, I'm thinking, is when they probably stopped manufacturing these. I have them in the brass plate. I have them in standard pewter, or some people refer to it as silver, which is this guy right here. And for $5 a piece, they're a nice seller.
Yeah. They're pretty scissors. That's about most of what can said, but again, we get these mostly because we have some people who like to get these in.
And they're also designed that you can put them on a chain.
All right, so that is box number 1. That's my first unboxing video. So we're going to package this box back up, or, well, I'm going to film my dad packaging it up for a little bit, and then we're going to cut away. And then we will see you again for boxes number 2 and number 3.